The malnutrition ward at this Kabul hospital has 40 beds. They are all full. Abeda comforts her 10-month-old son.
We are so upset. We are depressed. My husband feels ashamed. He said my son is dying in front of my eyes, but I'm not capable of doing anything.
In Afghanistan, the biggest cause of malnutrition is the underlying poverty rates.
Canadian Melanie Galvin is UNICEF's head of nutrition in Afghanistan.
I think we need, in the longer term, we're still going to need a great deal of funding to just treat these children.
Funds are at the core of so many problems in Afghanistan. In a plea for humanitarian aid in the spring, the United Nations said almost half the population faces hunger. When the US-led forces left 1 year ago, the West refused to recognize the Taliban government. So development aid and international support dried up, leaving a massive gap in the aid-reliant economy.
Most of the people, they don't have bank accounts, they don't have savings, they spend whatever they get in their salaries. So when the salaries were cut, people could not afford their families.
Afghan political analyst Abdul Hai Kanit says the situation has stabilized, but poverty remains a serious issue. Afghanistan's $9 billion in foreign reserves would undoubtedly help, but that cash is currently out of reach of the Taliban, mostly sitting in American banks. The US and the Taliban are negotiating, Washington looking for assurances from Kabul that the money won't end up in corrupt hands. President Joe Biden has also set $3.5 billion of it aside, potentially as compensation for the families of September 11th victims.
It's just politically odious for any U.S. president to, shrink wrap billions of dollars and send it back into the hands of a central bank that is ultimately controlled by the Taliban.
Afghans are often divided on issues, but on this, they are generally united.
The mentality of normal Afghans is that this is our money and it should be given to us, and we know how to do this.
As the West dangles that cash, it also wants to see progress on human rights in Afghanistan, in particular on the ban on girls from attending high schools. The recent killing of al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahri in Kabul only further complicates negotiations. In a tug-of-war between ideologies, it is, as ever, regular people who suffer. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.